now it should be streaming.
Now we're live.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if it streams the first step. I honestly have no idea. I did a live streaming yesterday, Bri, on YouTube. And like, there was like a video that was 10 seconds long of just me with a very confused look.
Oh.
And,
Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. If I'm looking down at my phone, I'm trying to get our guest on. Let me send him the link again. Hold on, guys.
I mean, he did have access, y'all. We are trying our hardest here. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to Signature Block with Lauren and Bri. Happy to be here. I'm sorry about last week. We had technical difficulties. It's, you know, the technical difficulties are practically like Mercury retrograde style at this point. Maybe some, there's got to be some planet in retrograde today that's really just messing with us, huh?
I don't know. I'm on. That's all. I don't have earrings on.
Oh, hold on. They match my shoes.
Look, they're super cute, but now I feel bald-headed.
Oh, you're fine. You look great. I was actually going to compliment you. I love that top.
Thank you, but I need some earrings.
Okay, well, I'm going to pretend you have some on. You know what I need? I need a right hand that works.
He said he's in a meeting area.
All right, folks, here we are. Woo-hoo-hoo. Happy Friday, Elise. Thanks for always hanging out with me and Bri.
I'm in, I think.
Doctor.
We're in.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Yay, welcome. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Great. Oh, you're so patient. Where are you from originally?
Grenada.
Oh, okay. So I find that people from that part of the planet tend to be more patient than people such as myself.
That's true.
Yeah,
in the Caribbean, in generally in the Caribbean, we don't wear watches.
Is that what it is? It's just that you don't follow the concept of time, and that makes life easier? Like, what is it that makes it so you're not?
Let me tell you what it is. You're always in a tropical environment. There's breeze, there's music, there's food, there's color. That you cannot stress even if you want. It's hard to stress. You gotta want to stress. So it's that laid back type of lifestyle for years, and you come to America, you still got it.
I love it.
You're so lucky. I'm so jealous. Maybe I need to move to an island for a few years to chill out.
Like you can definitely lawyer on the beach. That's a Facebook group, by the way. Lawyer on the beach.
I couldn't lawyer on the beach because I need a firm chair to help me, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, I can lawyer on the beach.
You can lawyer. Yeah. But I can't be aggressive in a relaxed position personally.
I'm sorry.
Right.
So, Dr. Bain, how long have you been in? Well, where are you located?
So I'm in Arlington. I'm in Dallas. And, well, it's borderline Arlington, Pantego. I'm in Dallas. I'm also in Houston.
Okay, and
I've been seeing your stuff about Houston. Tell me.
I'm here right now.
More about that.
So we started up Houston about a month ago, maybe about 2 months ago. I partnered up with a partner out here who owns a couple of other businesses, and he had the office and needed someone to come in. So it's been a partnership, and it's been great. I'm out here every 2 weeks. I'm here for the next three days.
Okay.
So we're working.
And then you partnered up with not partnered up, but Little Flip. Now you're his personal chiro,
right. So I'm gonna be his chiro. He's actually gotta give him a call today. He's like, as soon as you get back, you know. So every time I'm in town, I'm gonna work on him. It's been a blessing.
Okay, let him know that if he's an entertainment attorney, you a dope one. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who is Little Flip?
He's a rapper from back in my college days. He was pretty major. He had some major hits.
What hits?
Game Over is one of his
Game
songs.
Over is one of my favorites.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Is he little anymore, or is he like a
No,
grown
he's never been little.
Never been little.
Okay. I always wonder about that. Like Lil Wayne, he started in high school. He was little, right? And he is petite, but like he's a grown man. So
Oh, that's like the baby is not a baby.
right. And Yeezy, like he took away his no, I don't remember. Anyhow, whatever. So I like seeing the chiropractor, and I like being cracked. And then I like saying that you should make a t-shirt that says I'm addicted to crack, and then has your like chiropractor, because that's funny, right?
It is funny.
That's funny. I'm addicted to cracking.
It's not.
Yes. Yes. I like that. The crack king. I like that.
Cracking.
The not
Trademark.
cracking. Oh, I don't know.
Crack ing. I don't know.
As a black man, I suggest you don't make any shirts that say anything.
I think you should. I think it could be really funny and cute. And I personally don't wear other people's brands, but I would wear that.
You would wear that. Okay.
Absolutely. Deal. Yeah.
Don't do it. Do not put a shirt. Do not make a shirt that says Crack King. Do not do that.
Not Crack King
on a regular basis.
I'm addicted to crack.
Don't do that either unless you want to have police in your life on a regular basis.
Yeah, someone come over and say, so you're addicted? You need help? What's going on?
Or let me put these cuffs on you, sir.
Right, yes. I personally don't think that would be an issue for me, but what are you scared of? So, okay, so before, Elise, we talk about how you're scared of the chiropractor, I'm sure it's the neck cracking, but Dr. Bain, how long have you been a chiropractor?
4 years.
4 years. And tell me about like the process of becoming, like lawyers go to law school for 3 years, blah, blah, blah. How do you become a chiropractor? So people like Elise who are scared of having their neck cracked, it is like the most relieving, balancing, like healthy thing in my mind that I do. So help us understand your credentials and have help people kind of trust this process more.
Okay, so first off, chiropractic is a calling, so you have to want to serve. That's the first part of it. It's not like the regular medical doctor where you get certified and then there's a ton of people just running into your office because they're all sick and need meds, right? That is not what we are. We are not like them in any way. So chiropractic and medicine kind of differs on that realm also. I'm gonna get straight back to the point, but I want to make this point. What a medical doctor does to become a doctor of medicine is very similar to us. The first 2 years, we do the exact same classes for the first 2 years. And so the last 2 years, we go off into philosophy and into actual adjustments and physiotherapy and rehab and all those things in our last 2 years, right? But the exact same curriculum, we actually do a couple hours, a lot more than the MD do, actual classroom time. So when you look at what our profession is, we have a chiropractor, you have a medical doctor, you go through first 4 years, get your bachelor's done, right? So you have that calling, you get your bachelor's done. Hopefully it's in science. If it's not in science, then you have to go back and get all your prerequisites done because you need to get to the science side. So that can take a year, 6 months, a year. Then you apply for chiropractic school, just like you apply for medical school. And then they decide if they want to take you or not based on your grades. Back when I was in school, there was 2 avenues you can come in. One, you can come in directly as a science student, pull all your stuff in, and you'll be accepted if they review you. And the second one is you have to work through an intermediate program where the school provides the classes that you need to take prior to them accepting you. So they look at you and make sure that the classes you're taking are up to par with what the requirements are, okay? So once you're done with that, the first 2 years, you jump into gross anatomy after that for about a year. So you cut up cadavers, dead people for about a year. And everyone goes, oh my God, a chiropractor does that? Yes, that's how you get the DR in front of your name. You've got to do everything that MD does, right? So we dissect humans for almost a year, head to toe, everything. Skin comes off, legs come off. We do laminectomies, pull the brain out, we dissect the brain, we go through the spinal cord in detail. As a matter of fact, and that's the look I had initially, the look you have on your face. So as enticing as that sounds to me, that's kind of weird to other people. But this is a time when The Sopranos was on. I was cutting up bodies in the morgue at the school. And so my mom was like, what did you do today? I was like, Mom, I can work for the Sopranos. Like, I could totally dissect your pinky and have no problems. I could eat a tuna sandwich while I'm doing it, right? That was not the case on the first day, because people from the islands, we don't like dead bodies. So you know, it was a life-changing experience, because for one, I really didn't know we had to do that, and I had a feeling if I knew before, I probably would have tried something else, right? And then for two, when I got in, started doing it, I fell in love with it, and I honestly was having a Subway tuna sandwich before I went into the morgue, and I was fine. I was helping other people at other tables, and so I did this aptitude thing, and it said I should have been a surgeon. I said that to say to the people who are listening to this broadcast here now and in the future, you will never know what you're good at unless you try.
That's right.
That is true.
That's right. That's right. So let me ask you this. I have two questions for you, Dr. Bain. Number one, how do you say your first name?
Djorn.
Djorn.
Yeah. So there's a famous tennis player, Bjorn Borg, back in the day, Bjorn. So it's just a D.
Bjorn. Okay. Yeah. And then my second question to you is, because as Elise has said, you know, she's scared of going to a chiropractor. She's scared of getting paralyzed, and I've heard that a lot. But I've heard that a lot from my people. So now I'm gonna pose this to you. Is that a cultural thing? Is it? Do you have to overcome that more with Black people versus other people, or not?
No. It's equal across the board.
That's not cultural. Okay, because a lot of the people that are telling me that I hear that from is Black people. I don't hear that from anybody else.
Illegitimate fears go across all races. Huh?
It's across
not all the time, though. Not all the time. So there are some fears that Black people have that white people won't have. You know what I'm saying? And there's just cultural things that are there. And so I'm just curious, like, is that one of them? But you're saying that you haven't had to overcome that.
Everyone.
Okay, good.
And can I add to that? It's a lot of females, and I've in my years. So even I'm going on next year will be 5 years I've been practicing. But in my years of doing it, we got to talk about Grenada because I still go back to Grenada once in a while and serve, you know, pre-COVID. But in my years, I've seen a lot of bodies, because when I go back to Grenada, I'm usually the only chiropractor on the island when I'm there. There's 113,000 people, so I'm usually the only one on the island, and I see there in Grenada, I see the fear, and especially in females. Why? Because generally females don't like a man or anyone putting their hands around their neck. Right? It's very intimidating. So I've attributed the reason being mostly for females, that because of that uncomfortable feeling of choking.
That sounds interesting. I've had a man lay hands on my neck, and I've had my mom do it, and I can't wear like a close necklace, but I can get cracked all day, every day.
Right.
I'm the same. I haven't been through anything like that, but like I don't wear turtle. I don't like nothing on my neck, and it's not because of anything that I've been through. I just don't like. Yeah, exactly. That might be root trauma, but I just don't like anything on my neck. And so, but I can get cracked though. I have no qualms. But
I just feel so good afterwards. Like, let me ask you, this is probably a stupid question, but if we had to cut something that had been alive, I'd be done. I'd walk out. So here is my stupid question. When you like adjust a neck or something, right? Is there like a spinal fluid release or is there a better blood flow, or what is it? Because I feel like I just feel better. I feel like my body is somehow functioning better. So what is that sensation?
Okay, so yes, your body is functioning better. Yes, there's an increase in blood flow. And what the way we approach the cracking song and what you're talking about and the feeling is this way. When a patient comes in and they're concerned about the neck cracking, I sit and I talk to them and I explain to them what it is I'm doing. First off, if the bones were ever to rub together and touch each other, you'd be in extreme pain.
Oh, yes.
Right? So there's no bones rubbing on bones, right? Because that's what I've come to understand. People think I'm doing. I'm rubbing the bones on the bones. I'm going to crack the bones on each other. And so there's none of that. essentially what I'm doing is I'm getting the bone to a biomechanical position where I can have what we call a cavitation, where we can have a sound or a release in gases. So in the joint, every single joint in the cervical spine, thoracic, lumbar spine, your knees, your elbows, your wrists, everywhere there's a joint, there tends to be a buildup of gases in between the joint. So whenever you pop your fingers or you crack your knuckles, you're actually hearing the gases being released from the joint. So now that those gases are released from the joint is freer to move. There's no fixation. The muscles aren't pulled one way. So the highway is open.
What kind of gas are we talking about? Like methane or something? Like,
so we're talking about things like you've got like carbon dioxide, you've got some oxygen in between, you got some nitrogen. You might have a little bit of nitrogen there. Yeah, so it's a variation of gases that are collecting the joint. And so it's a good release, right? The joint is able to flow more easily. And that's what that is, the sound. Now, there was an experiment where they took 11,000 people, I think, and don't quote me on the number, but they're about a couple thousand. Well, they took their blood prior to an adjustment, and they took their blood post-adjustment. And they tested their IgAs, which is their white blood cells, right? Okay. So we're checking immunity. And there was a 15% spike in almost every individual that got adjusted. Wow. So after every adjustment, your immune system functions better. There's a 15% increase in white blood cells.
That's awesome. And how often should one get adjusted?
It depends on a couple of things. Okay. Your level of activity, your stress level, your posture, right? All of those, what your diet is like. Because if the muscles are acidic, if you're eating an acidic diet, you tend to have tight muscles on different parts of the body, and they pull on the bone. So the job of a muscle is to move a bone. First off, let's understand that right there. So the job of a muscle is to move a bone. Oops, sorry about that, I'm here. So the job of a muscle is to move a bone. Then when a muscle gets tight and it pulls, it is going to pull the bone out of alignment with the other bone. That happens, then you have tension. Acidic muscles, they get tight. So that's one. That related, when your stress comes on, your shoulders get tight. They start pulling the muscles, pulling the bone in the neck, right? If you exercise quite a bit, you're doing CrossFit, you're lifting bars and throwing ropes, and you're doing all this stuff, and you're dropping on the back and push-ups and burpees, and your bones are moving left, right, and center, and they don't always go all the way back where they're supposed to be, right? So there's once a week for the average person who is bad with posture, working from home or working construction or sitting at a desk all day, those type of people once a week. Certain folks who are more into yoga, do their stretches all the time, they can come in twice a week. Well, once every 2 weeks, sorry. Minimum once a month. If it absolutely is a financial issue, minimum once a month. But I like to tell people this. I'm like your dentist. You don't come to me once. You don't come to me and say, well, I went to the dentist one time in my life. I'm done, right? You don't, when you have a toothache, you go to the dentist. Hopefully you get it resolved right away, right? With us, you got a problem. You come in, we're going to address the situation, give you time to go back into your regular routine, check you again. And over a period of time, just like it took for it to get bad, it takes a period of time for it to get better.
Is that the like the theory of muscle memory? Okay. Yep. Look at us. I feel like I've learned like so much. I don't know why, but it never dawned upon me that our muscles are moving our bones.
Yeah, that's the primary job of muscles is to keep the body warm and to move the bones. That's it.
I mean, I never even thought about that. I thought of it like so that I could walk or like pick up my kid or throw a computer when I'm mad at it. But I never thought of the function of moving bones. So I love that. I love that you put it that way. So when you finished all this like cadaverizing and whatnot, and you came out as a chiropractor, did you immediately start your own practice or did you go work for someone else? You immediately went to your own practice?
2 weeks later.
Wow, 2 weeks later. So tell us about that. I know for Bri and I, we both went to the same law school. So that's how we know each other. We're both single moms out here, running the same game, so to speak.
Yeah. Running the world, actually.
That's right. We are.
Who run the world?
We do. So I know that in law school, they didn't really like teach us about having a practice.
Okay.
So you got out into the world, like, did they like give you an overview of running your own practice?
Oh my
just,
God.
like dive into the pool?
Oh my God. The alumni, they're about to hate me. The alumni is about to hate me. You are equipped with about 2 classes of what I would call real world experience, business management. Parker University, where I graduated, it's here in Dallas, Texas. And where I graduated, they had a problem because a lot of students were coming out complaining that they don't feel like they have what it takes to run a business. Mm-hmm. And the data was showing that most chiropractors are failing because they're too busy being chiropractors and not business owners.
Right.
So essentially what I'm doing right now is what the average chiropractor should be doing. Going into the office a bit later to take time to do marketing, to talk to people, to explain the profession, to help expand your business. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I was able to jump right in at 2 weeks is because I was in corporate America for probably about 15 years prior to that. You know, I've been in multiple businesses. My stepdad and my dad back in the Caribbean, they were both business owners. So I attribute that, you know, the how fast I opened up to how I was socialized. For one, you know, I've never really been taught to have a job, right? I always worked for the family business, right? Okay. So it's been like that. I've had jobs coming along, and but essentially, what I was doing about two months or so prior to opening up was prepping myself and getting ready for working on my own, because the reason I started chiropractic school, part of it was to not work for anyone.
Okay.
So when it came time out, I was already in the mindset like this is not going to happen, right? However, what I did, I opened up 2 weeks in, and I worked part-time for 2 other chiropractors, like one day here, one day there, just to get a little bit more money in one, and also to get some more real life experience. Parker University, they put you out into the real world for about 3 months or so with a chiropractor, maybe about 3 or 4 months with a real life chiropractor, and you do your externship in the real world. So if you get some experience prior to
that should help. That should help. We don't get any.
Absolutely.
And you got 2 more classes than we got, okay? Because we got zero classes about running a practice. Yeah. I don't even think they offered one, honestly. So, so 2 classes I think is great. When you began your business, did you like know where you wanted to be located, or how did you kind of come to be in this Arlington area?
Well, so there's a Caribbean restaurant named Jamaica Gates right up the street from my office, and the owner and I, we've been friends for a while. And so I'm up there grabbing lunch one day and totally just decided to go grab some food. And it was very, very random because it was an off day, like a Thursday or Wednesday. And he just happened to be there. He's a super busy guy. So he said, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Man, you know, I finished school and I'm pretty happy. And I'm just kind of, grabbing some lunch before I go home." He said, "Well, guess what? I just bought a building like 2 lights up the street. And I've got office spaces and you should probably take a look at it." I was like, "Oh, man, I don't know about that." I lived in Las Colinas at the time. So I was, I left Las Colinas to drive to Arlington to get some really good food. And I was about to drive back. I was like, "Man, I'm probably just going to go home and hang out." He's like, "No, seriously, you really should consider taking a look at it." He says, "As a matter of fact, I got some time right now. It's 5 minutes up the street. I'll drive you up there. You take a look." And I said, "Okay, fine, I'll go." And then I drove up there and I was like, oh my God, I could see, as soon as I walked in, I saw it. As soon as I walked in, I went, "This is it." The end.
Oh, nice. I love that story.
Yeah.
I love how your friend was building wealth.
Yeah.
I've been having this conversation a lot lately about being rich versus being wealthy, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I've always said, "Oh, I want to be rich. I'm getting rich. I'm going to be rich," right? Because that's what the rap songs say. But reality is, I want to be wealthy. I want to own the building that I'm in. I want to own buildings other people are in. And so I like that your friend wasn't afraid to push it either. And I really like that. I really like that. And it sounds like he wasn't pushy, but he definitely
He was pushy. He's like, you
Oh, he
really
was.
should consider this. He's like,
But that's
seriously,
how
I'm
island
telling you.
people are, though, right? Like,
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like island people are just pushy. They say what's on their mind. It's real direct, real in your face, real, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just the norm. So let me ask you this though. You've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot for you. Did you say next year will be 5 years for you?
Yeah.
On your own? That's a lot, because at this point now you're in 3 separate places doing what you do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's amazing. Congratulations on all
Yes.
that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, is there any anybody else that's out there that wants to be a chiropractor and wants to kind of follow on your footsteps? Is there anything that any type of advice or anything you would give them so that they would end up where you're at?
Yes, absolutely. Here it is. It is the best profession you'll ever join.
Oh.
Okay.
It's that
I
simple.
don't think anyone who's gone to law school would ever say that.
Yeah, it is the best profession you'll ever have. Well, let's just think about it, okay? I get to see people in agony, right, in pain. I get to empathize with them, and I get to facilitate the instant, on-the-spot release and look at their faces.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an MD, you prescribe some pills, they go to the pharmacy, they feel better at home. You don't get that instant gratification of knowing that what you did actually helped someone, and they left the cane they came in with, or they left all the what do you call it, the lidocaine patches, or they left the back brace they walked in with, they forgot it, right? And that happens all the time. And I go, hey, by the way, you might need this, right? This is your back brace. You just they're like, oh my God, I feel so good. There's no more pain, right? So that right there in itself, it makes you want to do it for free.
Yeah.
Seriously, you just want to do it for free because it's just that great of a feeling. It really is amazing.
Let me ask you a personal question, because Bri has a really good point. You've in 4 years, you've come a really long way. You're going into year 5 and you really developed this business, which is awesome. And kudos to you.
Thank you. Do
you have kids?
Yes, I have a 6-year-old that's going to be 45 next year.
Same.
I have an 8-year-old who's basically 22.
Yeah.
So how has, this is something Bri and I talk a lot about as single mothers, right? It's like, how has parenting had an effect on your entrepreneurship?
Okay, so it really is a balance. It's really hard. It is very difficult. Because Daddy just saw 30 patients today, and you want to play with the toys and you want to run outside, and my son is into football, and so I try to balance it as best as we can. So sometimes when it rains, I'm pretty happy because I don't have to be in the backyard. But it's a delicate balance. What you have to do, I think I asked one of my doctors this a long time ago. I said, I'm going to be so busy with life. You've been practicing for almost 25 years. How do you balance home and family and my son being so young? He said, you have to let your kids know all the time that you love them. Tell them all the time that Daddy loves you. You can come to me anytime with anything you need, and you always try, even though you may not be there present all the time, every time you're with them, you always let them know that you love them. And so that's what I've been, it doesn't take the place of spending time together, but it's a very delicate balance to the point where I have to schedule that time now. I have to schedule time with my son. It's no longer, oh, well, he's coming over from his mom or he's here. No, that has to be scheduled in, because if it doesn't get scheduled in, it clashes with the 25 million things I have going on. So you have to schedule your time with your kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had a partner who, was helping you raise your child. And it's, he does have a mom, and so obviously you do have a partner in that way. What kind of advice for folks who are watching the show we're really trying to help folks who want to be entrepreneurs. And that's why we are interviewing entrepreneurs. So for people who are like Bri and I and you, where you have kids, but you want to start a business, you want to develop wealth and create a legacy, what is your best advice for the startup period? Because you and we all know that the startup period is the heaviest, right? So what is your advice for that period?
Best advice. Got you. Okay, here's the best advice I can give anyone in startup. So first off, don't be so hard on yourself. Yeah. Okay, there's a phase for growth. There's a phase for mistakes. You're gonna make them. You're going to invest in some things that you shouldn't have done. But as you go along, you get better and better. It is a journey, and you should enjoy the journey, even the hard side of the journey. When I first started the office, I didn't have any patients. I had a portable table, so I decided I was going to advertise myself as a mobile chiropractor. So I went to people's houses, charged them like $100 or whatever for gas and adjustment. And then over time, got a couple of folks saying, yeah, I'll come to your office. But what I did also in the area was, I had no money, first off, okay? There was no money in the beginning. So I started the office with $1,000. And I was sitting in the what we call the rehab room now, filled with equipment. But at that time, there was nothing, no paintings on the wall, nothing. I sat there and I remembered something one of my mentors, who's Dr. Steve Hayes. He's a billionaire chiropractor now. I mean, he's made billions, right? Exactly, not million, billions. He at 25 years old, he was the first millionaire chiropractor in California. So there are chiropractors that are billionaires, and most people don't realize that, right? They're not millionaires, they are billionaires. So Steve Hayes told me in a seminar one day, he said, when you open your practice, and it was a very small group of students he was mentoring, he said, I want you to sit in there and imagine everything you want in here presently right now at the moment you're sitting there. Imagine the folks walking in. You got to be able to see the patient's faces, what clothes they have on, the color of the walls, your CA, your front desk, everything, and smell the air. Okay. And so I would sit in the office and I did it. I said to myself, this is absolutely ridiculous. Okay. But this guy's a billionaire and he cannot be wrong. And so I sat there and I kept imagining things. And one of the things I've always wanted, which is so strange and it's not culturally biased in any way, I always wanted Asians in my office. I said to myself that if I have an Asian person coming to see me, I've made it. I've crossed all borders and I've gotten, and so I have a bunch of Asian patients that I love that come in. I'm like, yes, this is it.
I made it.
I made it.
I love
a cross section of people now.
I love that.
Yeah, that's how I did it. That's what I say. Meditation is very important too. So meditate and see what you want.
I'm like a super hippie, like yoga, tarot, astrology, whatever. We call that manifestation.
Absolutely.
And I love the idea of sitting and imagining it. I've always written not recently, but I always would write out my manifestations. And I've been shocked sometimes when they've come true. I've gone back to my writing and compared and contrasted, oh my gosh, everything I said. But you kind of got to be careful sometimes, because you might manifest something, you think it's going to be great or whatever, and then it turns out to be terrible. That has happened to me. So I love the idea, though, of just sitting in the office, visualizing the clients coming in. Now, I don't know, Bri, you've had office space, right? You have, yeah. So Bri does a lot of virtual work. She was way ahead of us on the COVID thing. So what do I do? When I got my first office, I would go every day. Every day while they were prepping it. And I would sometimes cry. So I was so proud of myself, and dream of all these things. And it was really beautiful, but I'm 5 years deep into my business, and I feel like I've lost touch with that kind of, that innocence or something, right? So I'm assuming you've hung on to it. And when you got to Houston, you did the same visualization and manifestation. Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it.
I would also like to, just because time is dwindling. So I would
what already? No,
I know,
we haven't
so
even started.
But I would like to also have you discuss just a little bit about the other side of what you do, which is DJing, right? Right. Can you kind of touch on that and tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So in order for me to touch DJing, I gotta give you the full story. Okay. So I'm gonna start you off from Grenada. This is gonna be a quick summary. But I'm going to take you through the entire journey, okay? In 2001, I got through with my green card to come to the US, right? So the journey took me to Texas, where I spent some time in New York with family, then moved to Texas, where my dad lived in Austin. My dad was a welder for the Austin Community College, and he taught at the college, obviously. stayed in Austin for about a month or two. The reason I came to America was because I worked for American Airlines at the time in Grenada, and I wanted to go to flight school. So I went to flight school in Waco, Texas for about 3 years. So I flew, I've got my hours, I've got all that other stuff going in there, right?
Okay.
Right to the end of flight school, probably a month or so before I graduated, it was about a month and a half, 2 months actually, and I needed extra funds because at that point I was just flying. I was done with all school, all the ground school. I was just doing my hours, and I couldn't get the funding that I needed to finish. All right, as sad as it sounds, I couldn't finish flight school. I was so sad because my check rides were 3-4 days away from becoming what I wanted to do. I went into a bit of depression for about a year. Right. At that time, my dad moved to California, to Fresno. He bought a house over there. So I was the only one in Texas by myself here in the U.S. that, trying to get this thing done. I'm a little lost. I'm in Waco, Texas. I decided, okay, you know what? I'm moving to Dallas. I transferred to the airline to DFW, worked at DFW Airport. So all these times between Grenada, Waco, and DFW, I was throwing bags. I was learning gates. I was learning baggage code. I worked for the operations department. I balanced the airplane. I used to call it. I couldn't do the entire thing, including fly the airplane. That's what that was the whole deal. So I tried to get into air traffic controlling school because that would be the next route. One of my best friends was an air traffic controller, and because of my age, there's an age requirement with that. So I would finish in a time. You couldn't be 30 years old and not be in. It's a very strict deal. Yeah, if you hit 30 and you're not in working at the airport, you're done. They're not letting you in. So that really put a hamper in the deal. Yeah, that really put things in a whirlwind. Got to DFW, worked there for a while. After about 5 years working for American Airlines, I decided I needed to change careers. I got a job in a car business. So I was now an account manager for a company called Lane Logic, where I sold cars. I was the account manager for the state of Georgia as our account. So I went all over Georgia, went to the car dealerships, sold cars to them, traded cars with them, all this stuff. Came back to Dallas. I did that for about a year and a half, came back to Dallas. And my buddy decided, hey, we're going to do some music stuff, because in the Caribbean, I was a DJ, well known. I had my own radio program for about 2 years. I played at all the different clubs. I hosted the big events, Soca Monarch and Carnival on TV, and I interviewed the artists. And, I've done a ton of interviews, So with that in mind, I took the DJing here to Dallas. I said, fine, why not? Started DJing in downtown in Palm Beach. This is way back in the day, and moved up to all the different hip hop clubs. And I've traveled all over DJing. I've done a ton, to the point where now I was hired by the State Fair of Texas. This is about 6-7 years ago. So I'm officially the State Fair of Texas official DJ for the Chevy main stage. So cool. So through that, I've done 2 different shows with Fluoride. I've done Ludacris, Jasmine Sullivan, Kool and the Gang. I mean, the list is unbelievable. We have the contract for the Army. So whenever the Army does any of the big events, I travel with the State Fair production crew, and we go do these events. I've got about 3 DJs that work with me here in Dallas, and we do weddings. We got proms coming up. We've got so we're very busy and I play 25 genres of music. So it's not just reggae or hip hop or R&B or this. It's different. So I do Ethiopian weddings, Albanian weddings, Turkish weddings. It's a lot.
So we've reached the point in the show where we shamelessly plug ourselves. So tell all of our viewers how they can come see you, or anyone in tell us your 3 locations, tell them the phone number, then Bri will
media.
Give us all your info.
Okay, so when you have our office is called Revive Injury and Rehab, and the idea was I'm going to be reviving your spine. That's the whole concept. Revive Injury and Rehab. I'm going to revive whatever the issue is. So our website is revivemyspine.com. Very, very simple, very to the point. The office number 817-642-5032. 817-642-5032. Our Instagram is Revive Health. You can go anywhere you look online, you say Revive Injury and Rehab, you'll find us. And I also encourage anyone listening, before you come see me, please go read my reviews.
Awesome.
Don't take my word for it. Go read the reviews that are on there first before you pick up the phone and call to come see us.
Love that. All right, Bri, tell everyone how they can get a hold of their.
Hey, everybody, it's your girl. You see me weekly, Bri Bethancourt, owner of the Bethancourt Law Firm.
Hey.
And of course, as you guys know, I do practice entertainment law, trademarks and copyrights. We do LLC formations, business contracts. I do DJ contracts, Dr. Bain.
There you go. There you go.
So if you want to contact me, and then I also do family law. So if you would like to speak with me, hire me, all that good stuff, you can call me at 1-833-4-BRI-LAW. You can also catch me on Instagram at Issa Lawyer. That's ISSA_lawyer. And on Facebook at the Bethancourt Law Firm. Okay. And I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Lauren?
I am Lauren Cadillac. My firm is called Cadilac Law. We can be reached by phone at 972-845-1200. Our website is cadillaclaw.net, and Cadillac is spelled with one L, y'all. CADILAC. Make sure you check out YouTube. Look up Cadillac Law. I have tons of informational content. Part of my goal is to educate the masses and bring knowledge that wealthy people have to regular people like us so that we can build wealth for our families.
Yep.
And you can find lots of that information on YouTube. As an FYI, I have a seminar tomorrow at 11 a.m. for my City of Dallas program. So if you have the morning free and you're interested, you can call my office at 972-845-1200 and we'll let you know how to get access to that. So, Dr. Bain, I can't tell you enough. Like, I feel like all of our shows are great and fun and we learn something or whatever, but I feel like I learned so much on this show. Like, muscles move bones. I'm just mind blown.
And that there's gas in between when we crack our knuckles. That's
you have gas. Yes, that's crazy.
You sound like my patients. They come in and it's like, Dr. Bain, every time I come in here, you teach me something new. Every time patients come in, I always have something new to teach you about the body, about posture, about health, about water, about how to breathe. I'm always teaching. Physician means teacher. You've got to teach.
I love that. That's not the kind of care, most people are receiving from their GP. And, nowadays with insurance, it's like plug and chug. They're not really allowed to spend much time with them.
Yeah, you're a number.
But you don't have those restrictions. No,
just so the people that are listening knows, okay? What makes us different from the average chiropractor is not because I'm Black. It's not because I have dreads, because I do have dreads. Ooh, it's none of that. It's because, right? It's because when you come in, you get a different type of service. You're going to be in my office for an hour. Okay, if you come into my office, you're going to be there for an hour. You're going to sit for probably 2-3 minutes, but we're putting you on machines and roller beds and doing all this other stuff. Unless you came in and say, hey, Dr. Bain, I just want to get straight to get adjustment because I got to go to a meeting. So we treat you and we love on you and we try to, when people sleep in my rehab area, I call it the adult daycare in that room. I say, okay, night. Because they come in and there's peppermint and there's music and they're relaxed and they're all sleepy. I'm like, you look so tired. And then they come to the back and they feel great. I'm like, yeah, because you got to take a nap. That's
awesome.
You're tired.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to wrap up the show. Next week, we're going to have Chef Charles, I believe, and he'll be talking about his business. Dr. Bain, I appreciate your time and for joining us. And I hope that we can have you back sometime.
I'm in. Just let me know. I'm in.
Awesome.
Dr. Bain, be careful out there.
Thanks. I will.
Thanks,
thank you, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.